test streams to make sure your stream is stable at that resolution. We're done adjusting our settings for now, so click OK and let's move on to the next step. Step 2. Compose a scene. I almost went with make a scene, and I could have made a joke about making a scene, but I decided it wasn't that funny, so I'll just leave that out. Scenes are what allow you to switch back and forth between your camera, your slides and images, or whatever else you plan to present. For example, let's say for your webinar you want one scene that consists of just your webcam shot, one that just consists of your webinar slides, and one that has your webinar slides and a small window down in the corner with your webcam. Those would be 3 separate scenes. I'll use this example as I walk you through how to compose a scene. First, let's compose a scene for your webcam. The Scenes panel already has one scene by default. We'll right-click and select Rename, and we'll call it Webcam. In the Sources panel, the first thing we're going to do is click the plus button at the bottom and select Audio Input Capture. Wait, audio? Yes, because a scene can only output audio if an audio source is present, and we're going to duplicate this in each of our other scenes so we don't have to go back and do it later. Once we select Audio Input Capture, a prompt will appear asking if we want to add an existing audio source or create a new one. We haven't created any yet, so we're going to create a new one and just title it Main Audio, and then click OK. This will bring up a new prompt asking which audio device we want to use for this audio source. Go ahead and select whatever device you plan to use and click OK. Now our scene has audio but no video. That's okay, because before we go on, we're going to duplicate this scene so it'll automatically contain the new audio source we've just created. You can do this by right-clicking the scene and selecting Duplicate. Now it'll ask us what we want to call the new scene. Let's call this one Slides and click OK. We're going to do this one more time. Right-click the scene we just created and select Duplicate. We'll call this one Hybrid and click OK. Now we've got 3 scenes all with the same audio input, and it's time to add our video sources. Click on the first scene titled Webcam. In the Sources panel, click the plus button and select Video Capture Device. We'll name this one after the webcam we're using, or you can name it after one of your children, either one, and click OK. Now under Device, select the camera you plan to use. In most cases, this is all you'll need to do, but if your webcam has different output settings, choose the highest preset available. Depending on the quality of your webcam, it may or may not fill the whole program monitor area. If it doesn't, you can just click and drag one corner to make it fill all the way to the edge. Now let's move to the next scene, Slides. Before we add a source, you'll want to export your slides as images into a single folder. If your Slides application gives you the option, try to export a smaller file size for the images. In Keynote, the program I'm using, I'll click File, Export to, and select Images. Under Format, I'll choose JPEG smaller size, then I'll click Next. On the next screen, I'm either going to create a folder or navigate to a folder I've already created for my slides and click Export. Now all of my slides are saved as images and ready to import to OBS. Now back to OBS. In the Source panel, click the plus button and select Image Slideshow. Name your new slideshow and click OK. Under Visibility Behavior, choose Pause when not visible, unpause when visible. This ensures you'll keep your place in the slides when you move between scenes. Under Slide Mode, choose Manual, and then choose your desired transition style. Uncheck Loop so that your slideshow remains on the last slide when it's done. Next to Image Files, click the plus button and select Add Directory. Now navigate to the folder with your image files, select the folder, and click Open. Now you should see your first slide appear in the program monitor. On the Controls panel, click Settings. Click Hotkeys and scroll down to the section that says Image Slideshow. Designate Next Slide as right arrow and Previous Slide as left arrow, and click OK. Click the right and left arrows to ensure you're able to navigate between the slides. Finally, select the hybrid scene. Click the plus button in the Sources section and select Image Slideshow. Click Add Existing and select the slideshow you created for the previous scene. It should appear in the program monitor. Now click the plus button in the Sources section again and choose Video Capture Device. Click Add Existing and select the webcam device you created for the first scene. It will automatically cover your slides, and that's okay. Go ahead and resize your webcam so it shows in the corner of your presentation without covering any of the info. Now you should be able to select different scenes and see your compositions as they should appear in the program monitor. Step 3. Run a test recording. It's always a good idea to do a full run through of your webinar before you go live, but this can also just be a short test to make sure everything is working as expected. In the controls section, click Start Recording and record a few minutes of your webinar. When you've had a chance to work through each scene, click Stop Recording. Your recording will automatically save in the folder you chose for your recordings in the first step. Go ahead and navigate to that folder and play the video you've just recorded. If everything looks and sounds good, you're ready to go to the final step. Step 4. Get ready to stream. In this video, I walked you through how to do a live stream on YouTube with your webcam. Streaming on YouTube with OBS is similar, except there are some new steps. First, we're going to click on the Create a Video icon and select Go Live. It will automatically load the webcam screen. On the left of your screen, click Stream. After you fill in the info and click Create Stream, find where it says Stream Key, paste in Encoder, and click Copy. Now go over to OBS and in the Controls section, click Settings. Click the Streams tab and under Service, choose YouTube. Now put your cursor in the Stream Key field and paste. Click OK. Now OBS is all ready to stream. If you plan to also record a local copy of your video, make sure you click Start Recording in the Control section. Now click Start Streaming, then go back over to the YouTube tab in your browser. After a moment, you should be able to see your video show up in the preview. If everything looks good and you're ready to go live, click the blue Go Live button in the upper right of your screen. Once you've finished your webinar, stop the live video in YouTube first, then go to OBS and click Stop Streaming and Stop Recording. YouTube will automatically save a copy of your webinar on your YouTube channel, and your local copy will automatically be saved to your designated folder. The streaming setup is similar for most other platforms. You'll choose a streaming option for your platform, and they'll provide a stream key that you can paste into your OBS settings. If you get stuck on any part of the process, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to help out. Hopefully now you feel confident enough to try OBS out for yourself and put on an amazing webinar. Is there another broadcast software out there that you use and swear by? Tell me about it in the comments. If you found this video helpful and you want more content like this, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be sure not to miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I'm going to show you the 5 easy steps to how to live stream on YouTube using OBS so that as soon as this video is finished, you can start live streaming. And we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Nick. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your channel and make videos and all types of other YouTube related stuff, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. I'm curious to know why you are wanting to live stream. Are you wanting to connect with your audience? Are you wanting to increase the watch time on your channel? Are you wanting to, try to use those live streams to rank videos? Are you wanting to use it to just make videos quicker? What reason is it that you are wanting to live stream? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, so let's head over to the computer and I'm going to show you how to live stream on YouTube using OBS. The very first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have OBS Studio installed. It is available for Windows, Mac, or Linux, and it is absolutely free. Once you have OBS Studio installed into your computer, then if you do not see this black skin here, but you want it, all you have to do is go into your settings panel, and underneath the theme, under the general tab, you can just click on that, and then you can change it from the default to the dark. So I know a lot of YouTubers are into the dark stuff like me, so just wanted to go ahead and give you that side tip. Once you have it looking the way that you want to go into your youtube.com/live_dashboard inside of your Creator Studio. Once you are there, you want to scroll all the way down and you're going to see an area that says Encoder Setup. You'll want to copy the stream name /key. So to do that, you want to click the Reveal option and then you highlight it, copy it, and then go ahead and click hide. Now make sure that you keep this key to yourself because if someone else has this key, that gives them the ability to stream on your account and nobody wants that. Once you have your key, you go back into OBS, you go over to the right, you will see a settings option, you click on that. You'll go under the Streams tab and you want to make sure that you have streaming services selected. From the drop down here, you want to make sure that you have YouTube. And then you want to make sure that you have primary YouTube ingest server selected. From there, you are just going to paste your key into the stream key box. Once you have that set up, you want to hit apply and then hit OK. Next, we are going to assume that you already have your webcam hooked up to your computer. If you do not, go ahead and plug in your webcam, and then you want to go under the sources menu here, where it says sources. You want to go down and you want to click the little plus icon. When you do that, it's going to give you a bunch of different options, which I will go into in later tutorials, but in this one, you want to add video capture device. Give it any name that you want to. And then it's going to basically put on the screen the camera that you are pulling from. So if you get this square box like I see right here, then what you want to do is you want to click on the resolution tab, go to custom, and then you want to select the resolution that you want to push your video through at. Then you hit OK. And from there, there's one more step, but I'm going to give you a side tip as well. When you test everything to make sure that you have it up and running, one problem that a lot of people get when they are going live is they get an audio sync problem that happens. In order to fix that, all you have to do is you have to go into your mixer option here, and you will see that you have an option for whichever audio device it is that you're using. So what you want to do in that situation is you just want to adjust the milliseconds on the audio to compensate for that lag. For me, usually between 200 and 500 usually does the trick. Once you have everything set up inside of OBS that we just went over, you want to head over to back to your YouTube streaming page. From there, you want to make sure that you put your title and your description just like you normally would for a video, because these live videos, when you do them, they can rank as well. So you want to make sure that you get everything together in your meta. And for your tags, you want to make sure that you click on the advanced settings here. And when you do that, then you can click on basic info, and then that will allow you to add your tags there as well. So once you have that part of it set up, I strongly recommend that you do a private stream first, or an unlisted stream that you share with friends, so that you can, make sure that your audio is synced up and make sure that everything is coming out exactly the way that you want to. And as long as everything is set up the way that you want to, then you go back into OBS and then you hit start streaming. And when that happens, you'll keep an eye on this up here where it says offline. And then once your stream starts going through, it's going to say starting. And then right now it is telling me that I am live. So one thing that you can do is you can test your audio sync right here on this, or you can also test your audio sync by actually opening up your channel page and going to the specific URL of your stream, which would be whatever your channel is /live. Then once your stream is over, all you have to do is go back into OBS and you hit stop streaming. And then from there, YouTube will close everything else down, and then you are taken care of and your first stream is complete. This video is part of a playlist on how to live stream on YouTube. So if you want to learn more advanced options inside of OBS, make sure that you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if I've already made the tutorials live by the time that you've gotten here, then I will put a card up here somewhere to the actual playlist. So you can just click on that and then go find whatever topic it is that you're interested about live streaming here on YouTube. To see what that's going to look like and to see what you're going to be able to do once you're finished with the playlist, I'm going to put a link to my live stream up here at the top of the screen in an info card. So make sure that you click that, and then you'll be able to see how I'm currently running my streams, and you can watch the stream and learn some stuff, and you can see how I'm using OBS and the different things that I'm getting it to do. If you are not already subscribed, make sure to go ahead and hit the round icon so that you don't miss anything, including the live streams. And besides that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. In this OBS Studio tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your live streams look awesome, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Nick. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your channel, make videos, and all types of other YouTube related stuff, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. You're going to love this. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go to the computer. Okay, so now that we're at the computer, I'm going to show you how to take a boring looking scene like this and make it into something like this, where you can have chat on it, to where you can do like video transitions and things like that. You can also do it to where you add tickers, to where you have like a little sidebar to where you're doing like a split screen, and you can transfer everything back and forth. Super easy, and it can be cool with the transitions as well. Of course, you wouldn't want to use transitions as heavy as I just did, but I'm just showing you the example of what it is that I'm going to be showing you. So the first thing that we need to do in order to get all of this stuff rolling is we need to go up to the scene selection or scene collection and select new, and that's going to blank everything out. As soon as I do this, it's going to remove my webcam, so I'm going to add that in as well and show you how to do that also. So for this, I'm just going to call this TB demo. And as you can see, it took away my webcam, so I'm going to go ahead and add that by adding a capture device. And I'm just going to call that webcam. And that will get us taken care of there. Now, as you can see, when it first came on, it's really zoomed in and blown up. And on yours, if you see it and it comes in like this, all you have to do to fix that is you just change the resolution down here to custom, and then you change it to the actual frame size that you're going to be going out at. In my case, it's 1920 by 1080, and then I hit OK, and then as you can see, it brings everything, you know, to the normal ratio. So once I have that in place, this is going to be my blank starting point. So once I have that in place, I'm going to go down to my scenes down here in the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and I'm going to choose rename. And then for this one, I'm just going to change this to main plane. And then that tells me anytime I click on this, anytime I transition to this, no matter what, it's just going to be a plain thing that's happening, just me right here on the screen. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to build onto this. So I'm going to duplicate it here. I'm going to right click on main plane and I'm going to hit duplicate. And then I'm going to do main with a ticker. And then what that gives me the ability to do is add additional sources over here. So I have one scene here that nothing else is going to be on. And then this one here is going to be all of the ticker graphics to make the actual ticker that goes along the bottom of the screen. So here I'm going to click plus. I'm going to go to image. I'm going to do ticker BG for ticker background. And when I do that, it's going to ask me where the file is. So here I'm going to click on ticker BG, hit OK. And then there you can see this graphic that is now showing up at the bottom of my screen. Now, how this is going to work is it's going to be this graphic, and then I'm going to have a layer of text. And then after that layer of text, then I'm going to have a covering graphic as well. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to hit plus, and then I'm going to add that covering graphic right now. So I'm going to do ticker top. And I'm going to grab this. Now, as you can see right here, when I pull this in, if you look at this little area right here, you can see it's transparent. Okay, so basically what's happening here is this is going to allow the text to show up, to appear behind this and then disappear into this side as well while keeping the TubeBuddy logo in there. So I'm going to hit OK. Now with this, just so you know what's going on, is all of this stuff that I'm showing you right now, I actually built this for TubeBuddy for the stream that I do there. So if you want to learn even more YouTube stuff, I'm going to put a link to the TubeBuddy channel, so you can definitely head over to them, because me and other YouTube experts are over there, you know, sharing information to help you grow your channels as well. So the next thing that we want to do is I'm going to actually click on the little lock icon for all three of these. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to have to move the text around once I get it in here. So if I have these locked, then I can click anywhere on the screen, move anything that I want, and nothing is going to be selected or moved. So it's just kind of like a fail-safe. Click on plus, and then I'm going to go to text. And then here, I'm just going to make sure that says text. And then here, I'm going to put in just anything for the sake of the demo. And then once I have what it is that I'm going to be saying in the text, you can see it right up here at the top. You can see it's kind of small, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into select font, and in this case, I'm actually going to find the font that I was using. This is a really cool thing about OBS, is it lets you select different fonts, so you can make sure that, you know, things are matching up with your branding and all of that. So I'm going to select a different font, I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to click OK on this as well. Once I have that in place, then I can grab the text and I can bring it down. Now, as you can see, it's really small right now. So on a mobile device, this would be pretty much impossible to read. So I'm going to grab one of these corners and I'm just going to start moving it. And as you can see, that's going to scale that text up and make it a little bit bigger and a little bit easier to read. From there, I'm going to just bring it down the screen. And then because I have this selected, I can just tap on the arrow buttons to kind of fine tune it as far as getting it into the right place that I want it to be. And then as you can see over here in the sources section, this is at the very top, and it's covering up the TubeBuddy logo, and it's just not very flattering right now. So in order to fix that, what I have to do is I have to take the text and I have to bump it down a notch. And then now I've got that nice looking fade going in and out. So my text comes in, fades back out, the logo's still there, and everything still looks nice, neat, and clean. So what I'm going to do now is I need to make that text move. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to filters. Here, I'm going to click on the plus sign, and then I'm going to click on scroll. And then here, I want to show you this real quick. Let me move this over to here. So when I move this horizontal speed, you can see the text is going to start to move. Now, I can make it really fast to where, you know, people are reading it really fast and all that, or I can slow it down, make it something a little bit more reasonable. In this case, I'm going to go with like a 31. That's fine. So it's still coming along. It's still moving along, but it's not so much that it's ridiculously distracting. So once I have that speed, I'm going to hit close. And then as you can see, the ticker is going to be flowing along there nicely during any time that I want that to show. So now we have two scenes. We have the main plane, and then we have the main ticker, okay? So the next thing that we want to do is we're going to duplicate that main plane again, and I'm going to call this one cam with chat, okay? Now with this one, we're going to do that same exact thing where I'm going to go to the plus, and I'm going to add an image here, and this is going to be, I'm just going to call this one background because there's not a lot that's going to be happening in this scene. So I'm going to find that, and then I'm going to bring it in. Now, as you can see right here, the area that I have right here, it's already taken away. So I saved this image here out of Photoshop as a transparent PNG. Okay, so basically I removed the background layer so that I could save it so I'd be able to see through this. Now, another option that I would have had was to make the same graphic, but actually put a square on the screen in this area and then grab my picture or my video image there and scale it down and try to fine tune it to make sure that everything is in the right place and the right size. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to lock this background so I'm not clicking on it. I'm going to click on the webcam, and then now you can see when I move this, because I have that area transparent, it doesn't have to be perfect. I can just move it in, kind of scoot it into place, and then fine tune it a little bit with my arrow keys, and then there we go. I don't have to spend a ton of time sitting there trying to make everything match up. And in addition to that, I also get a little bit of a drop shadow over here to kind of give it a little bit of an additional look, so to speak. Now, the next thing that we want to do is something that I get asked about a ton, and that is showing the chat on the screen, because we have to put it in this little area over here so that viewers can see the live chat for this particular scene when we show this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my live streaming page over, and I'm going to show you how to do this. When you go to your live streaming page on YouTube, you click here, and then you click on Pop Out Chat. When you do that, they're going to give you a URL up here at the top. You want to copy that, and then you can close it. And then after you close that, you can actually just move that right out of the way or close the window or whatever, and it's okay because you have that URL. That's all that you need. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down to plus in my scenes, or in my sources, actually. I'm going to go down to plus. I'm going to choose browser source. Here I'm going to make this chat as the identifier. And then you can see here there's already a URL here going to OBS project, but I'm going to override that with my YouTube chat, okay? That URL that I just got. Now, because I've already built this for, the thing that I'm doing with TubeBuddy, so I've already built this, I already know that the width of this is going to be way too big. So I'm going to take the width of this down to 520, and I'm going to take the height to, let's say, let's do 890, okay? From there, I'm going to hit OK, and then you'll see the chat is now popping up on the screen. I just grab that, and I bring it over here and get it into place, okay? I could leave it like this, and it would be perfectly okay. I mean, if it just looks like this and you have the white on there, it's fine. But if you look at this from a design standpoint, I have all of these dark elements. I'm wanting people to focus on the TubeBuddy logo down there, which, by the way, if you don't have TubeBuddy installed yet, I've got a link to that in the description. But I want to draw people's attention to the TubeBuddy logo, and I want them looking at my screen. I want them looking at the chat as well, but I don't want them to be overwhelmed and distracted by what's going on in the chat. So what I have to do for that is I have to put in a CSS code, which I have in a notepad here, and I'll actually put this as a resource link down in the description below. But I have some CSS code that I'm going to drop into this chat option right here. So I'm going to right click on chat, I'm going to hit properties, and I'm going to delete this in the CSS area right here, and then I'm going to paste in all of this code right here. And again, I'm going to have a resource link to this down in the description, so you'll be able to get this same exact code down in that description if you want this. And then I'm going to hit OK, and then you'll see that it made my text bigger, and it also took away that background, so now it's not as distracting. It's still distracting, especially when it's all moving around, but it's not as distracting. So what we've done there is now we have this chat area so that people that are watching can see their chat come up on the screen, right? So I'm just going to click on something there, and then that fills that box out, and you can see right there, as you can see, can you see this that I put down there? It completely fills that box out and makes everything look nice and clear. Now, to be picky, I would want to scoot this down here just a tad, because that's a little bit too tight up there at the top for me. So I would bring it down to something like that, maybe bring up the bottom a little bit, but you can fine tune yours when you're making your graphics for your live stream. So now we have three chats. Now we have three scenes, in here. We have the main plane, we have the main ticker, and then we also have this, which is our cam with chat. So we're starting to create, you know, a nice production here, right? Like this is looking really professional. It's looking great. Everything is nice and organized, you know, real easy to follow what's going on. And a really awesome thing about this is down here in the sources part, you don't have just a humongous pile of stuff down there, right? You can just switch it as you need it instead of having a bunch of things that you have to sort through in order to make these same things happen. And you don't have to drag things around all the time and resize the frame and all of that. So this makes it so much easier. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the main plane again. And this one is going to be split screen. Now, this comes in really cool if you are a gamer or if you are a business owner and you want to have your screen and then you also want to have something happening on the side over here to where you can have like your social media information, or you can have like a product that you're talking about, or you can have bullet points of what it is that you're talking about while keeping yourself on the screen. This part is really cool. So what I'm going to do here is I created that split screen scene. And as you can see in the sources here, the only thing, again, that we're starting with is just the webcam by itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the image that I made. And then with this, you can see I'm kind of, you know, covered up there or whatever, but the graphic over here is where you would put, there we go, is where you would put the, you know, any additional information that you have. But what you would do in this case with the webcam is I'm going to lock that. And then with the webcam, I can just take this, drag it over, just like this. And then there we go, I'm nice and centered. So let's say that I'm talking here in the main plane, and then I want to say something about, you know, whatever it is that I'm talking about, then I would click on this, and you can set this up. You can set up a bunch of these so you can just rotate through them as you're talking about things, or when you want to, you can go to the cam chat and things like that. So now that we have this in place, I want to level this whole thing up to really make it pro. I'm sure you've seen the news where, you know, they're talking about something and then they transition into something else, and then they have like a logo or some type of graphic that comes up on the screen to actually make that transition to happen and make it kind of smooth and pro looking. Well, that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do for that is I'm going to click on studio mode over here. And that's going to split the screen. So if you're not familiar with OBS right now, if you're not familiar with OBS yet, basically how this works is over on this side of the screen, the one that has the ticker on it right now, this side of the screen is basically a staging area. And then the other side of the screen where we have the split screen, that is actually what would be live that your viewers would be seeing right now. So if you're recording something in OBS or if you're actually streaming in OBS, the one over on the right where the split screen is right now, that is your actual live area. That's what's actually being streamed or recorded. And over on your left, that is your staging area where you actually build everything and you get it ready to go over. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add that transition so that we can really make this look cool. So here I'm going to go over to the scene transitions. I'm going to hit plus, and then I'm going to select Stinger. Now here I'm going to do icon transition. I'm going to hit OK. Then it's going to give me the option to go find it, and I'm going to go find it. It's called the TB icon transition. TB stands for tube buddy. And then for these other options, I'm going to leave these on the default, but if you are wanting to hear the transition, if you have audio in yours like I do with mine, and you're wanting to actually hear that transition, what you would do is you would just click on this, and then you would go down to monitor only with mute output. Okay, and then as you're playing it, if you're doing your stream, you have headphones in, and you want to, you know, be a part of the show in terms of listening to what's going on, then that gives you the ability to do it. So I'm going to hit OK. Now this is where this gets cool. I'm going to go up here to the quick transition. I'm going to hit the plus sign, and I'm going to hit icon transition, and then now that icon transition's in there. So how this works? Let's say that I want to transition from this split screen over here to the ticker version that's over here, then I can click on this icon transition, and then it does that for me while still keeping everything looking cool for the viewers. So basically, instead of making it a hard cut like this every time that I do the transition or a fade, then I can hit that icon transition and actually take it to a different segment. So that's really cool, where you can say, okay, well, I want to use this to transition me in between segments. You can set up different graphics that you change, you know, for each thing in between each different segment that you're trying to produce. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this up another notch, and we're going to add another option here to slide. And I'm just going to call this one down. You can do up, down, left, or right. And then here I'm just going to make this down. And you can also add these up here as well to the quick transitions. Any quick transitions that you want, you can add them up here. But this is especially handy for graphics. But now if I want to transition in between something, I can just hit down like that, and then it will take me you know, into anything it is that I'm wanting it to take me into. But if you really want to do this in like a really cool way, what you can do is, I'm going to go into my settings here. I'm going to show you something. Under the General tab, if I scroll down, you're going to see this option right here for studio mode, transition to scene when double clicked. Okay. I have that selected, and I'm going to show you why. The reason that's selected is because let's say that I do a down transition. Okay. If I double click these now, it's going to automatically just send it over, and it's going to send it over with that down transition. Same thing would happen if you wanted to do a fade, right? You see how it just fades it all around? And the same thing happens if I want to do the icon transition. So let's say that I'm sitting here and I'm talking about something for a while, and then I want to take it back to the plane. Then I can click on that, and then it'll take me back to the plane, and then I'm ready to go in terms of making everything look awesome. So the same thing applies if I want to go to the split screen. Then I click on that, and then it makes that really cool transition to really pro everything up quite a bit. Now, in addition to that, if you really want to make this stuff even cooler and make it easier for yourself, there's something called the Elgato Stream Deck. I'll put a link to it down in the description, and it's basically a live switcher. It's really low cost, and we actually use it in our studio that I do my Nimin live show on every Saturday, and I actually have one right here at home as well. And basically how that works is you can program the buttons, and you can assign anything it is that you want to happen. You can assign it to these buttons, and then you can just press the buttons without having to actually click anything inside of OBS itself. If you want to learn more about growing your channel, making videos, and all types of other YouTube related stuff, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
That's what I'm going to be chattering about today with you. So here's kind of like a rundown of what we're going through, which is what are the different channels and what's the difference between them? What equipment do you need? How can you deal with the terrible internet? What software or programs do you need? What digital assets do you need? What are some of the benefits and how can you maximize and incentivize them? How do you stand out, communicate well, and learn from your audience? How do you deal with trolls? How can you get word out, and how do you use communities to grow?
Question, can I take photos of this?
You can, but I'm more than happy to put the slides up.
Oh, okay. It's just for my memory and...
Yeah, if you'd like to, you can.
Thank you.
But I will put the slides up
okay.
on the Sydney Comics Guild
okay.
later.
Oh, okay.
Introduction. Hello there. I am Mary, and I'm actually a musician primarily. That's what I do for a living. I sing geeky songs, and I also very much love art, and I am one of those aspiring comic artist humans that's trying to make comic art and get better at it, and that's why I'm a part of Sydney Comics Guild. And I've been streaming on Twitch for 6 months now, a little over 6 months at this point, and that's my setup. So I have probably about, well, that's my old setup, I've upgraded it, but I have about maybe 1.5 meters squared to stream in. It's actually a very, very tiny space, but I'm still able to make streaming work. So if I can do it, you can do it. And why streaming? Well, there's a huge myriad of reasons why, but I think one of the primary reasons why is because I think it's one of the best ways to connect with people. A lot of the time with social media, the social aspect comes second. You're mostly just kind of throwing content at people, if that makes sense. Whereas with live streaming, you get an actual connection. And connections from the back and forth, from them seeing the real you. You're not putting on a facade. It's impossible to keep up a facade for multiple hours of streaming. They're seeing your entire process if you're an artist. And I think that creates a real genuine connection. And that in turn leads, I think, to a better community and then success in terms of finding your audience as well. Another really good reason to start streaming now is it's relatively new, which means there isn't as much saturation in the space. And I think that is a really good reason to start as soon as possible, because the saturation will come when people realize how effective it is. And it genuinely is very effective. So different outlets. There are different channels. Twitch is my recommendation most of the time. YouTube Live, I believe, can work very well if you have a YouTube audience. This would require you to either already have millions of people following you, or for you to create really large numbers of people following you. But as you may have noticed, if you have tried sharing your things on the internet before, especially on YouTube, you put your heart and soul into a video, you put it up, and you get 7 views, and you look at it and go, what did I do wrong? And you didn't do anything wrong, it's just your video of how to draw an eye is one of 10 billion videos that exist on how to draw an eye. So I think Twitch is good if you do not have that big following yet on YouTube. Facebook Live is the other big one. I'll go into that later. There's also Instagram.